Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And as we are fastly approaching this presidential election, there are a few pinpoint issues that most of our American citizens are worried about. Inflation, our economy, this migrant crisis with 12 to 20 million individuals, illegal migrants that have come in this country without being vetted. Also, gun violence, the opioid crisis, and of course, untreated and undiagnosed mental health issues with many of our Americans. They say something like 25% of our country citizens are walking around with untreated and undiagnosed mental health issues, which could become a public safety issue or has become a public safety issue for not only the people suffering, but for others that are affected by it, either through harm or worrying about a loved one. But one of the pressure points and the heartbeat of America is our corporate America system and its structure. And many of our companies are suffering. We have the Boeing strike that's going on right now with the international machinists and aerospace workers. Don't forget the 45,000 dock workers, the International Longshoremen's Association that has been on strike, and the middle class is suffering. And now we have this scenario with some of our retail stores that are suffering and starting to close stores. Do you remember 30 years ago, for those who are old enough, when Walmart was entering many of our towns and everybody was worried about Walmart killing the mom and pop stores? That was a big issue. But nobody ever thought some 20 years later that, and Walmart was physically putting stores there, nobody ever thought that this big behemoth that does not actually place a store in your neighborhood, but it's like somewhere all over the universe. It has killed not only the mom and pop stores, but also your brick and mortars. What is that? Amazon. You can push a button and get things brought right to you. And this has had a deleterious effect on some of our big blue corporate America stores. And I'm speaking specifically of three. You're seeing huge closures of Walgreens, CVS, and Rite-Aid. And of course, where are they starting to close their stores first? In the urban market, right in our inner cities, due to low margins, due to an increased amount of theft, etc. And you won't believe how many stores are closing as we speak. So this video is about why your drugstore is closing. And let's get into some statistics about it. And of course, this presidential election has everything to do with this scenario in a certain way. So CVS is closing 900 stores. 900. Listen to these numbers. Rite-Aid is closing 500. Walgreens announced recently it plans to close 1,200 stores, meaning 1 in 7 will disappear. What is going on with America's drugstores? Walgreens and other chains overexpanded during the 1990s and the 2000s to drive out competitors and draw more customers. They are now shutting down because of shifting consumer habits, competition, and changes in the pharmacy industry. Listen to these numbers, please, because this will have an effect on everyone, from getting your medications and all of that kinds of stuff. Around 25% of Walgreens stores aren't profitable, CEO Tim Wentworth said in an interview with the Wall Street Journal back in June. And the chain will be looking to close stores that are right by one another or struggling to hold down theft. Walgreens and other retailers say they have been hit by shoplifting since the pandemic and resorted to locking up items and or closing high theft stores. But shoplifting alone doesn't explain Walgreens' problems. And the company subsequently admitted last year it cried too much over the impact of the would-be scourge. Meanwhile, increased competition and failed growth strategies like acquiring primary care providers continue to have reverberating impacts on drugstores. We are at a point where the current pharmacy model is not sustainable, CEO Wentworth said in June. CVS, the largest U.S. chain, closed 244 stores between 2018 and 2020. In 2021, it announced plans to close an additional 900 stores. Earlier this month, CVS said it planned to cut about 2,900 jobs corporately, 2,900 corporate jobs. See how this affects everybody, people that work there and people that are trying to utilize these pharmacies. And Rite-Aid filed bankruptcy last year, closing up to 500 stores. So what are the shifting trends? Drugstore chains are struggling because of lower reimbursement rates for prescription drugs, according to an analysis who covers the industry. The majority of drugstore sales come from filling prescriptions, but their profits from that business have dropped in recent years as reimbursement rates for prescription drugs fall while fees rise. And remember this word about pharmacy benefit managers, PBMs. The prices customers pay for drugs and the payments pharmacies receive are largely determined by companies known as pharmacy benefit managers, or PBMs, which negotiate rebates for drug manufacturers to insurers. PBMs, pharmacy benefit managers, have been cutting reimbursement rates to boost their own profits. Elizabeth Anderson, an analysis at Evercore IRI, previously told CNN. The pharmacy industry has complained that PBMs have too much control and can squeeze out pharmacies. PBMs argue that they help keep drug prices down by negotiating with drug makers. Now, how does that affect us? Well, if you have elderly parents, we all know as we get older, we're going to have more and more health concerns. I'm in my mid-50s. I don't feel the same way I do in my 20s. I'm taking some prescriptions. And what is one of the top key things that middle-aged and elderly people talk about? Medical bills, pharmacy costs, and as a matter of fact, medical bills are one of the leading chasms to cause older folks to file bankruptcy. So, do our prescriptions cost too much? Many people, I'm telling you, as you get beyond 50 and older, that becomes a real issue and a real cost that affects your daily life. People in their 20s, when you're young and healthy, you don't worry about it. But this is a real issue, and the majority of our country is over 40. If reimbursement rates start to come down and drugstores can't offset it with other growth, then it has a negative impact on their profitability, Anderson said. At the same time, the rest of the store is struggling. The front end of the drugstores, which sells snacks and household staples, have become less profitable as shoppers buy more of these items. Guess where? Online from Amazon. You can push a button and get your prescription sent right to your house. That's killing Walgreens, CVS, and Rite-Aid. And at big box chains such as Walmart and Costco. So Amazon, this behemoth, has changed the entire business landscape. It is affecting Walgreens, CVS, Rite-Aid, Walmart, Costco. Those are big box companies. And Amazon is above all of them. Both have grown in recent years. Dollar General's growth has also hurt drugstores chains in rural areas because of their low cost for items. The front end is suffering like other retailers, Anderson said. To try and draw customers, Walgreens, CVS, and other drugstores have moved into primary care, adding doctors' offices to hundreds of stores. For example, Walgreens took a $5.2 billion stake, $5.2 billion in Village MD, a primary care network in 2021. What happened with that conjunction? But Village MD has not been profitable for Walgreens, and Walgreens has tried to cut costs. The chain has been closing Village MD locations and said over the summer it will divest from the company. So how is this helping the company and hurting the consumer? Walgreens' coming closures might help the company's bottom line, but are likely to hurt access to health care. This is what I was just talking about. Removing these companies, Walgreens, CVS, from these neighborhoods where many people don't have a car, many people are middle income to low income, and getting access to their prescription drugs or even buying a case of toilet paper or toothpaste is going to be a lot harder now. And I guess now Uber stock will go up to a certain degree because now people that don't have a vehicle or wheelchair bound or don't drive, they're going to have to find transportation to get to further out locations to get their prescriptions filled. When pharmacies close, some patients have to travel farther to get their medications they need. Researchers find pharmacy closures lead to health risks such as older adults failing to take their medication. This is, even if you're in your 20s and you don't think this affects you, but this could be affecting your father, your mother, or that grandmother that you love. The loss of retail pharmacy can leave a void, especially for low-income households. So, as a result of this, there's diabetes medication, epilepsy medication, cancer medication. Will there be, as a result of these companies leaving, will there be an uptick in more fatalities, more deaths because people are not getting access to their meds? It can become a real issue. Roughly 1 out of every 8 pharmacies closed between 2009 and 2015, which disproportionately affected independent pharmacies and low-income neighborhoods, according to a study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. The study found that pharmacies at greatest risk for closures are those with large customer bases on public insurance, like Medicaid and Medicare, which have lower reimbursement rates than private plans. Private plans would be like Blue Cross Blue Shield indemnity, Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO. And most of the time, those are for people that are still working in corporate America. So it's saying that the study found that pharmacies at greatest risk for closures are those with a large customer base on public insurance, Medicaid, Medicare, which have lower reimbursement rates than private plans, as well as independent pharmacies. What is going on? That is something like between CVS 900, Rite-Aid 500, that's 1,400 stores, and 1,200 Walgreens stores. So 1,400 plus 1,200 is 2,600 stores are closing in a very short period of time. I live in St. Louis, Missouri, and Chicago part-time. I've seen 3 Walgreens within a 5 to 7 mile radius close within the last year. When you're talking about a desert island, a desert area, that is what is taking place. But we also, in many of our urban and inner city markets, have to take some accountability and some responsibility for these stores closing, because the level of theft and shoplifting has skyrocketed. Walgreens, you take San Francisco and Oakland. Walgreens, CVS, they have left those areas where they are being decimated by shoplifting and looting. You can steal up to $900 a day in California without any repercussions. So the liberal laws have affected these big blue corporate America stores. This has a direct effect on our U.S. citizenry. And it's a wake up call for how you decide to vote in this political climate that we're in, an election. And I'm not trying to sway you one way or another. I'm an independent. But I do want you to raise your level of consciousness and pay attention to what is going on around you. I have never seen McDonald's closing. There have been several McDonald's that have closed in the St. Louis area. I went to Jack in the Box yesterday at 9 o'clock to get something to eat. And I don't even eat Jack in the Box. They were closed, and they were supposed to close at 11. Drove around to the drive-through. The guy told me there were only 2 people there and they had to close. I have gone to several fast food places when I'm out and about, and that has been a real problem. Getting people to go to work, having enough staff members to have a sustainable store. Now you have kiosks in many of these stores that are replacing manpower. People, we have to wake up. There is a lot going on, and you're going to see the rug being pulled from up under you in the next 5 years, and it's going to affect the inner city urban market first. Poor people always will suffer immediately effects when the economy is going in a different direction or doing bad. Inflation is high. We've influxed trillions of dollars during the pandemic issues. We are financing at least 2 wars in Russia and Ukraine with billions of dollars. The Gaza Strip, billions of dollars are going out of our country. And you're seeing right in your face, Walgreens, CVS struggling, Rite-Aid. You're seeing McDonald's having issues. You're seeing places like O'Reilly's. I had to get an auto part for my car. They had 1 employee. That is a safety issue. They had 1 employee in the store. Nobody showed up for work. That is a safety issue when you have these O'Reilly's auto parts stores in certain environments. Theft is going to be high. The possibility for robberies in those stores is going to be high. And how can you run a store and make it profitable when 1 employee is there? Other than that, the store will be closed during work hours. There is a lot going on, and our economy gives you a temperament or a template of where our country is headed. Many of these big companies like Walgreens, like McDonald's, like CVS are struggling. And it's all because, or many of it is because of theft, shoplifting. There's not enough available funds for our working class to go out and support these stores. And this is a true factor in what you need to do and raise your level of consciousness on how you vote, citywide, statewide, and nationally. This is a sad commentary. And if Walgreens and CVS is closing stores and possibly suffering, what do you think that is happening to the average person that makes $50,000 or $60,000 a year? When these corporations are laying people off, closing stores, it has a direct effect on the people that live in those areas, but it also has an effect with people that work there to get laid off, and it gives you a template on where our wealth and our health of our society is headed. We are in trouble, folks. Tell me what you think about many of these big box pharmacy type stores, Walgreens, CVS, Rite-Aid, that are closing every day right up under our eyes. This has been the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth in a positive, righteous, and God-fearing way.